You got a nice straight back. Your arms hang directly under your shoulders, top of the knees, the balls of the feet, tip of the elbow, and the top of the spine should almost be in a plumb line, which is pretty good there. I have to do some biomechanical measurements on you. I have to figure out what your wingspan is relative to your height, how long your forearm and upper arm are.
Right.
But you're just a little loosey-goosey up there at the top, for my taste. The club goes outside a little bit. That's okay. The club shaft, when you get to about where the left arm's parallel to the ground, the shaft is 48 degrees. It gets a little long there. I would prefer the club to stop right there. You get a little long.
That's something I've been working on.
Yeah. Coming down, you're right in pretty good plane. You're almost exactly the same plane you went back on. That's good. And the club comes down nicely right in there in that target area. So club face is pretty square at the top. It's just a little bit of an overswing.
Yep.
Head dips a little toward the ball a little bit. Then you recover nicely. So yeah, I mean, it's a good swing. There's some fundamental flaws. Your ball position's messed up.
Yeah, that's something that I struggle with that probably more than.
Yeah, so your ball's a little forward at times. You push the ball because the ball position's wrong with an 8-iron. You're hitting an 8-iron? Yeah. So it needs to be just a skosh forward, maybe just a little bit farther forward.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's just a little bit of an overswing. Right there would be ideal.
Yeah, and that's where I've been trying to work to get to. And
yeah. Okay.
when I get to, like Sunday when I played, I was probably 99% of the time I was in that position. I hit the ball well.
Yeah.
So.
You got a little bit of sway, which I'll point out here. Your right toe needs to be turned in more.
Yeah, so that's the other thing.
Because what happens here is this
Yeah, on the outside of
your hips are going to move sideways a little bit. That's no good.
Gotcha.
So that lateral stabilizer muscle called the glute medius, you gotta brace that and rotate around.
So more square of a
square toe will restrict that rotation,
okay.
But it also will restrict the lateral shift. I don't want to see a lot of lateral shift there. That's not good.
Okay.
That'll cause some inconsistency in terms of ball contact.
Right.
Impact looks pretty good there. Your left leg needs to be a little straighter. You're sliding a little bit. This left leg needs to be locked at impact. So you're getting a little bit of you just have too much lateral shift on the backswing and too much lateral shift coming through, and that's another reason you're inconsistent. Okay. But
is it going forward? Is there too much sway going forward because of what's going on in the backswing, or?
I have to investigate further. It might be a hip problem. I don't know if your hips are tight or they're just weak.
Right. Okay.
There's a couple tests I'm going to do to see how weak your hips are. Sure. If they're weaker, we strengthen them a little bit, but it might be a motor control thing. It might be simple as you just taking a club, putting it across your thighs in front of a mirror and practice rotating in a barrel. It might be just that. Okay. It may not be anything physical. I don't know. Sure. But this right toe has to be turned in, and we just can't let that right hip go sideways on the takeaway. It's too much lateral movement there.
Yes. Okay.
That's it. You got pretty good tempo. I mean, that's a nice position there. The guy that you need to be watching is a guy named Francesco Molinari. He's he's Italian guy. He's your build. He's about 5'8". He's probably 165, maybe 170. Same sort of build. Much shorter backswing. Now it looks like his hip is moving. It's really not. What's moving is the camera. So I put a circle over the ball, and the ball moves. It's the camera. There, the ball's moving, and so the camera's moving. He's not. So it's a bit deceptive. But you can see he's not as long a swing as you are with an 8-iron there. He's probably at 10 o'clock there with his left arm. Think of the hands of a clock.
Right.
Probably right about a little more, but the shaft is well short of horizontal there. And then he looks very similar to you at impact. Very similar there. So yeah, I mean, you got a good swing. Just a few little flaws though. Not much. Take a look at your axis of symmetry. See how much movement you have. Not much. Not much. Not much at all. That's pretty good.
So what's that axis of symmetry telling you or showing you?
Well, just how much lateral side to side movement or up or down. So I just put a point on your nose and just see how much movement. This is not a lot of movement. Your head's moving very little there. It's more just an unstable lower half.
Okay.
I mean, your head's moving minimal there. Yeah, it's a good swing. I mean, you could be, I haven't seen your short game yet, but